At AirManual, we use a four-stage approach that solves the problems that hold back other approaches. We focus on your biggest problems, we make it easy for your team to find all the guidance that they need, we make sure the value of content is way higher than the cost, and we make sure that guidance is used and maintained. We start by getting clear on the problem that you want to prioritize and which role to focus on to solve this. For example, let's imagine that we have identified that the business leader is struggling to get time to work on the business because they're spending too much time on sales tasks like sending quotes to customers, making sales calls, sending invoices, etc. So we decided to start by focusing on sorting out that sales role so these tasks can be handed over to others. We want to create a structure that makes it easy for team members to find all of the guidance that they need. So for this, we're going to create the outline of our manual. To illustrate this, how this works, let me start with an empty workspace in AirManual. It's empty right now, so we should start by creating folders for each of the high-level functions that exist in the business. Now that we've done that, we want to solve some of the problems in our sales team, so I'll open the sales folder. And we really need to answer this question. For someone to excel as a sales rep without constant support, what guidance will they need? That's actually a pretty tricky question to answer, so I'll break it down into a few easier ones. First question is just what tasks will they need to do? And for each task, we'll create a page. Here's how that works in AirManual. As you can see, it's really quick, so you can brainstorm your processes directly into AirManual in real time. Later on, we'll turn these pages into simple checklists that explain how to do each task. We sometimes refer to these as SOPs or standard operating procedures, and despite the technical sounding name, an SOP is simply a checklist that guides you through how to do a task. And those SOPs are really the foundations of a great manual and great onboarding. Whenever a sales rep needs guidance on how to do a task, it's going to be incredibly easy to find it. Whenever you bring in a new team member, it's going to be incredibly easy to introduce them to their responsibilities and then get them up to full speed. That said, it's not the only type of content that you'll need in your manual. So the next question is, what reference material will they need to support these SOPs, these tasks? So for example, when running a sales call, it's helpful to know about your competition so that you can answer relevant questions. We can capture this information in reference documents. The third question is, where will upfront training be needed in addition to the SOPs? As an example, it's important that there's an SOP on how to run a demo call. You won't just let a new joiner just read that SOP and run the demo call though. They'll need some coaching, some practice before they're really ready to fly solo. So we can add in a training module called Learn How to Run a Demo Call. And then finally, we can think about how will we bring the new team members up to full speed. As it happens, this is perhaps the easiest question to answer because you just need an onboarding checklist for each role with a separate checklist for a manager to use to prepare for that new joiner. And these checklists have a common format, so we've actually created some templates that you can use from our template section in AirManual. The great thing is that onboarding checklist will actually build on top of the SOPs, reference documents and training that you've already thought about. Many of the steps in the onboarding will simply be guiding the new joiner between these other resources. This is brilliant, not least because it means that you're always creating and updating content that can be used by new joiners and existing team members. As a bonus, you can also link to other resources that are useful for this role. As an example, we've linked to the sales team's dashboard here. Now team members don't need to worry about bookmarking the dashboard or trying to remember which tool it was created in. They can find it here. Now that we've mapped all of the content that we need, there is one more step we can take to make your manual immediately useful for your team. What we can do is, for each page, quickly add a placeholder. The placeholder is just a brief description of what the page is about, when it will be used, and what to do while waiting for the full page to be documented. Creating placeholders for your manual shouldn't take more than an hour for a whole section like sales, and your team will love it. because using this guidance they can be more proactive, answering some of their own questions and reaching out to the right person when they do need support, even when there isn't a full documented checklist SOP. Having created the outline and added placeholders, here's how the manual will look for your sales reps. As you can see, it's easy to use, it's easy to navigate, it clearly defines what responsibilities a sales rep has, it's obvious what guidance exists and what's missing, and team members can see what to do in the meantime. In short, it's finally becoming easy for your team to find all the guidance that they need. And we're just getting started, but that's already a pretty amazing achievement in such a short amount of time. So probably cause for a celebration.